Hey guys, today I'm switching gears. We're not talking about cars. We're talking about the two most powerful men in Silicon Valley. If you've tuned into any financial news lately, you've seen the same image: Jensen Huang, the rock star in the leather jacket, standing at the center of the universe. Nvidia's market cap has blown past $4.5 trillion. Everywhere he goes, there are red carpets and screaming fans. Even guys like Zuckerberg and Nadella are lining up just to buy his GPUs. He represents the absolute victory of the first half of the AI race, the cloud carnival. The romance of ChatGPT writing poems and making art. But if you pan the camera just a little bit to the side, you'll see someone else standing in the shadows: Elon Musk. Compared to Jensen's glory, Musk has been living in hell mode for the last few years. While the Wall Street elites talk about AI over drinks, they've stopped even mentioning him. They say, "Oh, Musk, the guy who builds electric cars?" The Techno King was basically kicked out of the Magnificent Seven chat group. His stock price got chopped in half. An OpenAI, the company he helped start, is now his archenemy in court. That's how the world works. You're either the hero or the has-been. For the last 4 years, the market slapped a huge label on Musk: outdated. They thought he was washed up, that FSD was just a pipe dream, and that his humanoid robots which could barely walk were a joke. But friends, never underestimate a madman with his back against the wall. While Jensen was talking about how hard entrepreneurship is, Musk was quiet. He was in his Texas gigafactory doing something that should make Jensen's blood run cold. Just this week, a signal flare went up: the AI5 chip. This isn't just a piece of silicon, this is Musk's sword of revenge. He's going to use it to puncture that $500 wall of size that's been holding him down for 4 years. Now some people might think I'm just hyping Musk up, but let's look at where the cold hard cash is moving. Mark Newton, a top technical analyst at Fundstrat, just released a report that's terrifying the short sellers. If you know Mark, you know he doesn't care about stories. He only believes in the will of the whales shown in the charts. He pointed at that Tesla K line that made retail investors despair and said, "You see a crash, I see hope." He realized that while the world was laughing at Musk for 4 years, Tesla stock was doing something very scary: a massive shakeout. Every drop to $100, every failed rally, it was Musk doing an IQ test on the market. He flushed out the speculators who only saw Tesla as a car company and kept the die hard capital that understands his ambition for the physical world. Mark Newton made a shocking call. Tesla is at a historic tipping point. That $500 barrier that crushed so many people is about to be smashed by Musk himself. And once it breaks, that $500 level will undergo a chemical reaction. It'll flip from being a ceiling to becoming a diamond floor that you'll never see again for the next decade. Why is Mark betting so big? Because he sees the hidden card in Musk's hand. It's not about how many cars he sells. It's about redefining what a computer is. What is Musk actually doing? He's doing something even Jensen Huang wouldn't dare to try. Easily. He casually tweeted that the AI5 chip is targeted for design completion in 9 months. Most people have no idea what 9 months means. In the chip industry, that's a suicide mission. Even a giant like Nvidia takes 18 to 24 months to iterate a flagship chip. Musk wants to cut that time in half. This means he's out of patience. He's done playing the incremental update game. He's using an illegal acceleration to force Tesla off the car manufacturer's seat and onto the iron throne of it. Over the next 20 minutes, we aren't just going to be spectators. I'm taking you inside Musk's war room. We're going to dissect Fundstrat's $1 million 2026 battle map. We'll show you the specific timeline for this revenge war, which month is the trap to lure in the shorts, and which month is the final bugle call for the attack. We're also going to look at the secrets hidden inside the AI5 chip. Why do I say that while Jensen rules the cloud? Musk is using this chip to rule the rest of the physical world. Are you ready? The real show is just beginning. Jensen Huang is in the spotlight, and for good reason. Nvidia's market cap just hit $4.53 trillion, leaving the old tech giants in the dust. And Musk. Tesla is still hovering at the $1 trillion doorstep. That $3.5 trillion gap is the Royce divide between two eras. Many people look at that gap and feel hopeless, thinking the game is over. But for Mark Newton, this massive divergence actually exposes a crack in the consensus. What do I mean by that? Think back. What's been the mainstream narrative on Wall Street about Musk? He's distracted. Twitter was a mistake. FSD is always coming next year. That's the arrogant consensus. But under that noise, the charts are telling a different story. Mark describes Tesla's 4.5-year stagnation as a constructive structure. In plain English, if Nvidia's rally was a party, Tesla's sideways move was a pilgrimage. For 4 years, Musk wasn't just grinding the FSD algorithms. He was refining his shareholders. The people who just wanted a quick buck, the ones with no faith in physical AI. The ones who were jealous of Nvidia, they all sold and left. Where did those shares go? They were picked up, one by smart money that understood the AI5 strategy. So while Nvidia is at a $4.5 trillion high facing sell pressure, Tesla has finished a perfect blood transfusion at the bottom. This isn't just a technical victory, it's a victory for the believers. I have taken these human moats that AI can't cross and organized them into a system covering energy, manufacturing, and data. I have compiled this into a silicon hard currency gold mine map. I've put this resource in the comments section for you to download for free. So, what is the first fortress this new die-hard capital is going to storm? Mark Newton gives a precise coordinate, $500. Remember this, in Musk's revenge script, $500 isn't just a price. It's a Berlin Wall of trust between cloud AI and physical AI. Every time the stock got close to this level, Wall Street would short it into oblivion because they didn't believe. They didn't believe you could build a robot or that a car could drive itself. But Mark's core point is that this time is different. With the AI5 chip breaking Moore's law and FSD V12's end-to-end logic working, the physical nature of this wall is changing. He predicts that once the stock effectively breaks $500 in the coming months, it won't be a bounce, it'll be a qualitative transformation. In technical terms, it's a polarity flip, but I call it Wall Street's surrender. When the money stays above $500, it means the institutions have finally bowed to the madman. They admit he was right all along. Once you're above that, the ceiling that crushed you becomes a diamond floor that supports you. Mark Newton even suggests that when the price breaks $500, you shouldn't sell. In fact, that might be the last time in your life you can buy a ticket to the physical AI world at a fair price. Of course, Musk never lets his supporters win too easily. Jensen says, Nvidia's moat is built on pain and suffering, and Musk gives his shareholders plenty of that. Mark Newton mapped out a 2026 unshaped battle plan that really tests your humanity. This map holds all the secrets of how institutions harvest retail investors. Act 1. The Lightning Strike. On the news of the AI5 design completion, Musk will launch the first charge. The goal is clear, pierce $500 and maybe even touch $650. The market will flip from extreme pessimism to extreme euphoria instantly. You'll see nothing but good news, and you'll feel the urge to sell your house to buy more. Act 2. The Spring U-turn. This is Musk's specialty, the pressure test. Mark warns that Tesla has a history of spring weaknesses. After the first explosion, there's a high probability of a brutal pullback. Where to? Exactly back to $500. That new diamond floor needs a bloody validation. Rumors will fly. AI5 is delayed. Sales are crashing. If you don't have absolute faith, you'll be thrown off the bus. This is the big players doing a final sweep of the week. Hence, Act 3. The Return of the King. Just when you're glad you got out in time, Tesla will bottom out around October and rebound. This time, it won't look back. It'll take the true believers on a 2-year main wave straight to the next level of a multi-trillion-dollar valuation. Mark's script is simple. Watch the breakout in February. Dare to catch the knife in April, and sit tight in October. It's a targeted hunt for retail psychological weaknesses. If you don't know the script, you'll miss the boat in February. Get scared off in April, and watch Musk's starship fly away at the end of the year. Understanding the script is one thing, but controlling your fear in April is another. You need to stay cold and stick to the plan. That's why we need to look at what's actually under the hood. What is Musk's ace in the hole that gives him the guts to challenge Jensen's $4.5 trillion empire? Is it really just that postage stamp-sized AI5 chip? How can it knock Nvidia's H100 off its pedestal? Let's step into Musk's lab and tear down this brain of the physical world. You'll realize this isn't just a chip upgrade, it's a physical revolution for the sake of revenge. This is the Iron Bull Finance, helping you read the global trends and stay ahead. Mark Newton says $500 is Wall Street's surrender. But why would greedy bankers bow to a car guy? Because they realize Musk is no longer playing the EV revolution game. He's fighting a war of independence against the entire chip supply chain. For a long time, Musk was in pain. Why? Because his life was in someone else's hands. To train FSD, he had to buy Nvidia's H100s at tens of thousands of dollars a pop and wait in line for them. For a man with a pathological obsession with control and a first principles mindset, that was intolerable. So, he did something that set Silicon Valley on fire. He set a deadline to finish the AI5 in 9 months. Let's feel the killer instinct behind that 9-month goal. Even with tens of thousands of engineers, Nvidia or Apple usually take 2 years for a flagship chip. That's the rhythm of Moore's law. But Musk said, I don't believe in that. He's not just squeezing his engineers. He's declaring war on the industry's speed limits. His logic is simple. If I evolve 3 times faster than you, in 3 years, we aren't even in the same dimension anymore. You're crawling on the ground, and I'm in a vertical elevator. The AI5 is the light spear he's using to pierce the $500 ceiling. So how strong is this AI5? According to leaked specs, the compute power is expected to reach 2,000 to 2,500 tops. Compared to the current HW 4.0, that's a 5 to 10x exponential explosion. But specs are just the surface. What Musk wants is density. Current self-driving chips are like a back assist. They handle lane lines and traffic lights. Musk wants to shove a micro data center into every Tesla's glove box. Why? Because he sees a different future. To him, a Tesla isn't a car. It's a robot on wheels. Optimus isn't a toy. It's humanoid labor. To let these things live in our complex world, avoiding running kids, catching falling cups, guarding your house, you can't rely on the cloud. The cloud has latency and the internet can drop. Real-world danger is zero latency. Every robot needs a super brain. AI5 is that brain. It makes every car an independent thinker, not just a puppet of Jensen's cloud empire. This is the core logic for Wall Street's repricing. They see Musk doing exactly what Tim Cook did in 2020 when Apple dumped Intel for the M-series chips. This is a classic Apple moment. Why did Apple risk everything for custom chips? For extreme efficiency and extreme vertical power, general-purpose chips are like off-the-rack suits. They have to fit everyone. So they're bulky, power-hungry, and expensive. Musk is bringing that vertical integration magic to the physical world. First, customization. AI5 is built specifically for FSD's neural networks. Every transistor is born for self-driving, no fat. That's why the efficiency is terrifying. Second, cost control. This is the big one. Musk knows if he wants to build 100 million robots, he can't pay an Nvidia tax of thousands of dollars per unit. Robots would never become mainstream. But with in-house chips, there's no middleman. You can drive the cost of core compute down to nothing. This is what Musk was cooking during those 4 years of being laughed at. He's building a perfect closed loop of algorithm, chip, and hardware. Once that loop is closed, it doesn't just create a product experience that makes competitors despair. It creates Apple-level profit margins. That's why Mark Newton calls $500 the bottom. He's done the math. The future Tesla isn't a struggling manufacturer. It's a tech giant with an industrial AI monopoly. It might be the only company on Earth that can blanket the world with super AI at the price of consumer electronics. So, facing this open-hand play, has the institutional line of defense collapsed? Are they scared or are they greedily accumulating? Before the $500 breakout, the battle for capital enters a brutal psychological phase. Let's look at what the smart money is thinking right now. We see Musk's sword of revenge in his Apple-style vertical power, but that's just one side. The people who actually decide the stock price are the fund managers handling tens of trillions of dollars. To explain their dilemma, I'll use a classic game theory scenario, the crowded room. Imagine 2 rooms. Room A belongs to Nvidia and Microsoft. It's packed. Everyone is holding champagne, celebrating their 3x or 5x gains. The music is blasting. It looks great, right? But to a fund manager, this is dangerous. Why? Because everyone is in profit. Everyone's nerves are at the breaking point. If there's even a whisper of bad news, Jensen mentions supply constraints or earnings just barely miss. Thousands of people will rush for that tiny exit at once. That's a stampede. In Room A, the upside potential is low, but the risk of being trampled to death is growing exponentially. Room B is quiet, almost eerie. During the 4 years Musk was ridiculed, the people looking for a quick buck left. The only people left are the ironheads, who held through $100 and $200, the true disciples. If Mark Newton stands at the door and yells, "Hey, Musk built the AI5. They're handing out gold bars in here," you'll realize there's zero resistance to entering this room. There are no sellers, only buyers. That's why Mark says capital is doing a violent rotation. Money is like water. It always flows to the path of least resistance. When trillions of dollars realize they can't squeeze into Jensen's room anymore, the clean, empty room next door, Musk's room, is the only place left to go. If you ask a traditional Wall Street analyst today, they'll show you an Excel sheet and say, "Don't buy Tesla, it's too expensive. The PE is almost 100x. Toyota is only 10x. This is why retail investors lose money. They love the rearview mirror. These analysts are like people in a horse carriage, trying to value Musk's rocket by counting hoof prints. It reminds me of Jeff Bezos 20 years ago. Amazon was losing its shirt. The PE was negative, and the old money in suits laughed. It's just an online bookstore. Why is it worth more than Walmart? Well, Bezos built a... If you bought Amazon based on bookstore valuation, you got shaken out years ago. You only held if you bought the tech infrastructure logic. Musk is at his Amazon moment. That extra PE isn't for selling cars. It's the market pricing the option for global labor replacement over the next decade. The institutional logic is cold. If Musk fails, the stock might drop by half. But if FSD and Optimus work, even if they only replace 1% of global labor do, you know how big that pie is? Global GDP is about $100 trillion. 1% is $1 trillion in net income. Facing that kind of future, a 100x PE is a bargain. So when the price breaks $500, don't think it's expensive. To the top institutions, that's just the moment the option is exercised and Musk's ambition starts to pay off. Let's play a psychological game. Imagine it's February 2026. Tesla does exactly what Mark Newton predicted and jumps 30% in a week, hitting $550. You see that big green profit in your account? What's your instinct? 99% of people will want to take the money and run. What if it drops back to where it was? That's fear of heights, and it's why retail investors never hold the big winners. You've been conditioned by Tesla's volatility over the last 4 years. Your muscle memory tells you to run when it rallies. But Mark's script is like a cheat code. He told you the answer early. $500 isn't the top, it's the bottom, it's the watershed. Below 500, it's a car company. Valuation, you can trade the swings. Above 500, it's an AI monopoly valuation. If you sell, you'll never get back in. When the urge to click sell hits you, think of that crowded Nvidia room. And then think of the madman shoving a data center into a car. Don't sell, overcome the fear, and stay seated. The most expensive cost in capital markets isn't a loss. It's giving up the chip that could change your life right before the dawn. At this crossroads, what does this storm mean for us? Tesla's breakout isn't just a stock rally. It's the discovery of a new continent in human industrial history. When you look past the $500 fight, you see the whole game has changed. We are at a massive cognitive divide. $500 isn't just a number. It's a time machine. It's testing whether the market has made the dangerous leap from software AI to hardware AI. The last 2 years were Jensen's era. Wait, cheered for poems from ChatGPT, and paid for GPU. That was the liberal arts era of AI. It's romantic, but it doesn't grow food. Musk, with his 9-month AI5 chip, is forcing open the STEM era of AI. For the next decade, we won't be paying for chatbots. We'll be paying for physical intelligence that can turn a wrench in a factory or drive a taxi through a crowded city. This is the true beginning of AI industrialization. Mark Newton's charts tell us where we are, and Musk's AI5 deadline tells us where the profit comes from. The cards are on the table, the choice is yours. On the eve of this breakout, you have 2 different tickets in front of you. The first is a consolation prize from the old world. You can believe the traditional analysts staring at financial statements, scream too expensive at the 100x PE, and take your profits. You'll sleep well and have a guaranteed return. But you'll stay on the old continent of gas cars and mobile internet while the new era's fleet sails away. The second ticket is for the new continent. You have to overcome your instinct for the path of least resistance and believe in the madman. This ticket is hot to the touch. You'll have to endure the violent turbulence in April when the bus circles back to pick people up. But remember, you are the one going to find the new world. How can you turn back at the harbor just because of a little wind? This game of physical AI is essentially capital searching for the compute endgame of the next decade. At this crossroads, emotional swings often hide the certainty of the logic. I have organized this path from labor to capital into a silicon hard currency goldmine map. The resource is in the comments for you to take. If this content helped you see the other side of the market, please give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Iron Bull Finance. Next time the wind changes, you'll be the first to get the signal.